Leafs Nation, Steve Dangle here. I'm going to do a one-taker about this story because I have no other option. I just recorded a video with Faisal Kamisa that's going to go up on the Sportsnet YouTube channel, and I'm about to head to go do the new Steve Dangle podcast with Adam Wilde and Jesse Blake, and our guest today is going to be Rick Westhead, so I definitely can't miss that. But the big news with the Toronto Maple Leafs today, Morgan Rielly signing an 8-year contract extension, $7.5 million per. Why is that significant? Well, I don't know. Have you ever been in a room with $60 million? I'd like to do it. If you denominated it into 20s, would it fit in here? Would it just be like, could I lie down on it like Bill Burr in what's it called? In what the hell is that show called? This is why I use Breaking Bad. This is why I use jump cuts. Listen, I know a lot of people have their reservations about this, okay? The number one question from outside of the fan base and from inside of the fan base is how on earth are the Leafs going to afford this? Because they have money tied up in X, Y, and Z. I don't even want to go through it. Here's the thing. Are you sick of losing, guys? Huh? Me too! The JVR conversation. It should be, we're heading into the playoffs. Isn't it great that we have this great player? No, because they didn't achieve anything and they lost him for nothing. Isn't it great that we're heading into the playoffs with Zach Hyman? No, because they didn't achieve anything and they lost him for nothing. The writing seemed to be on the wall. Everyone was asking me, Steve, the Leafs are having such a rough start to the season. It looks like they're going to trade somebody. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Mitch Marner? Is it going to be William Nylander? The answer was as clear as day to me. Morgan Rielly. $5 million defenseman. Number one, number two, top pair defenseman on most teams. It's got to be him as a pending UFA. They cannot afford to lose someone for nothing again. Now, he's locked up until he's like 35 or something like that. He's going to be on the team until 2030. This dude is a Leaf lifer. I think he feels more ownership for the Toronto Maple Leafs than anybody. He's been a Leaf for a lot longer than John Tavares. Marner and Matthews have been Leafs for longer than him. William Nylander, a Leaf for longer than him. And Morgan Rielly was drafted in 2012. Remember Coney 2012? I've already said this, but remember how long ago that was? Some of you were looking at me like, no, I don't remember that. That's how long ago Morgan Rielly was drafted. I know he's a baby-faced beauty, but he's no shrinking violet. He's no spring chicken. He's no bunch of other colloquialisms that old dudes say. Sorry, I'm a dad. He's been here a long time, and I think it matters to him to win here. So regardless of what you think of him as a defenseman, regardless of what you think of him and his numbers, regardless of whether or not you think he's exactly what the team needs, because we all know he plays a very offensive style, and there are some question marks about the defensive end of his game. Regardless of all of those things, the dude's going to stay. We finally get to keep this great story, this positive leading figure in the dressing room. Remember all those moments in the Amazon documentary? They just confirmed everything that we knew about Morgan Rielly. The way he spoke up during Game 7. It was just him and Jason Spezza. It confirms everything we knew about Morgan Rielly. The way his dad was in tears on his draft day in 2012 because he's a Leaf fan. Morgan Rielly stays! And it's a wonderful thing. Now, how do they afford him? How do they do this? How do they keep it up going forward? Because even today, the Toronto Maple Leafs pairings at practice are Rielly, Dermott, Muzzin, Brody, Sandin, Liljegren, Justin Hall not even in the lineup. How does Kyle Dubas justify protecting Justin Hall and Alexander Kerfoot and losing Jared McCann? Well, I kind of think you just named a couple of the guys who might be on their way out. And this is unfortunate. One guy stays. Now you have to talk about who's going to potentially leave. I think that's how this works. Justin Hall, does he have a place on this team? More so Alexander Kerfoot, who was really good for the Leafs in the playoffs in that series against Montreal. The dude had 6 points, really underratedly filled in while John Tavares was out of the lineup. However, right now, he's not the third line center. He's not the second line center. In fact, he's rarely even a center. He makes $3.5 million. Now, that's somewhat justifiable if you put him up in the top 6, and recently he has played a little bit in the top 6. But they've been playing him with David Kempf, who, by the way, is the third line center. They've been playing him and his $3.5 million on the third line. This team cannot afford that. Doesn't matter whether or not you like the player. They can't afford it. I just don't think he's a fit on this team. Now, who's going to be on the team going forward? Well, there's Matthews. Okay, well, wait, he's locked up. There's Marner. Oh, okay, well, he's locked up too. There's Tavares. Well, he's locked up. There's Nylander. Well, he's locked up. There's Muzzin. Well, he's locked up. There's Brody. Well, he's locked up. There's Rielly. Well, now he's now he's locked up. So for everyone like, who the hell is going to play on the Toronto Maple Leafs next year? What are you talking about? The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to play on the Toronto Maple Leafs next year. They have plenty of guys who are locked up. If they lose Jack Campbell, they have Peter Mrazek. A pit just fell into a lot of your stomachs, and I get that. But at least the Leafs' biggest question mark heading into this offseason, and Morgan Rielly is absolutely, or was absolutely their biggest question mark heading into this offseason. Kyle Dubas got rid of that question mark in October. Now, here's the only caveat there. Now he has to get to work. He has to. Does this team look good enough to you? No. I don't think it looks good enough to anybody. I don't think it looks good enough to the players on it. I don't think it looks good enough to management, although Dubas was willing to double down on them, to at least bet on them heading into this season. I don't think it looks good enough to the coaching staff or anything. But the core is committed. The defense is locked up for the foreseeable future. The guys who should be performing up front are committed for the foreseeable future. The number one issue with this team, I still say, isn't money, although it is the biggest story with this team day in and day out. The biggest issue with this team is the biggest names and the biggest players have to perform. And Morgan Rielly has now firmly put his name, put his stamp on the fact that he is one of those players. So he has to perform. Now, who's got to perform? All the players we just mentioned. But to me, management. It's going to have a very fun next little while. Okay, you beat the Chicago Blackhawks, one of the worst teams in the league, in an overtime game where you had to erase a 2-goal deficit. Okay, now do it again against Detroit. Okay, now do it again against teams that are expected to make the playoffs. All right, now do it again against teams who are supposed to contend. All right, now do it all the way until you have a playoff spot and you actually win a round. Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, which is the entire goal in the first place. But I'm getting away from all that. Morgan Rielly, a Toronto Maple Leaf for the next 8 years, baby. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I'm sweating bullets. This is why I do jump cuts.